everybody. Welcome to Why We Love Horror. This is episode 56 of this incarnation of the show. I'm JWMaher. And that's Abby Brooks and Aaron Brooks. Highly anticipated movie this week, guys. How you feeling?
Good.
I've been better.
Yeah.
If we're rating it based on how we feel about the movie, keeping that bid going for those watching at home.
True. If you haven't caught on by now, we act how we're doing compared to how much we like the movie. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay this week. But everybody is either very like excited and jazzed about this movie coming out, or people are just like about this movie coming out. I don't know which group you're in, but we're talking about Terrifier 3. Basically, let's just get the cat out of the bag. Like this movie, it's everything you think it is. I'm not even like, if you want this movie to just be like over the top, just Damien Leone's doing whatever he wants, middle finger to the earth, and if that gets you hard, this movie's gonna get you hard. All right, that's exactly what's gonna happen. That's my first comment, guys.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So this was on all of our most anticipated top, at least it was in the top 1 or 2, I think, last year. And so I think we all went in with pretty high expectations, I guess. I know at least Aaron and I feel pretty differently about the movie, but a lot of the points that he's going to make, I do agree with. I think that this movie there's quite a few issues, just like with the other 2 movies. But I ultimately enjoyed myself quite a bit. I was not disappointed in this movie.
Yeah. The Terrifier 3 it definitely was anticipated for me. I really did enjoy the second one quite a bit. And I just I don't know. I was very disturbed by how bored I was in this movie when it wasn't the great scenes that we're going to talk about, like the shower scene and a few other scenes. But and even in some of those, I was a little bit let down. I wanted to be more grossed out. And I'm not trying to be a tough, brave boy, because I've made fun of those kind of critiques for weeks on end here. But I never was really disturbed with this movie. And this might sound kind of blasphemous, but yes, hooray, practical effects. But I don't think this was the best practical effects of this series or probably of this year by any stretch.
I would agree with all that. I'm going to say another thing up top. I respect everything Damien Leone stands for. Everything he stands for is A+. Yeah. His whole no, I'm going to do this shit myself and I'm going to do whatever I want. And I exist to offend you. The whole G.G. Allen approach to horror filmmaking, I respect.
Don't put G.G. Allen level.
But it's becoming really one note now, because as you're watching this movie, you're he did that just to piss people off. It's not it doesn't service the plot. It doesn't necessarily even service the lore. It's just done to upset people, period. And so he's playing a very weird balancing act with trying to make Art the Clown and the lore around Terrifier something robust that fans can get into, and just putting a middle finger up to prudes. He's doing a difficult, and I would say frankly a bad job of balancing that. He's doing a bad job of balancing those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. I know one of the big things that I've heard people say about this movie is that there's no plot. And I like agree, but also like kind of disagree at this in the same sense. Again, I think he's trying very, very hard to kind of build things up and like create some like complicated lore that I think the three of us probably like I couldn't explain it. I don't think any of us could really explain what exactly he's trying to do or say just yet. And it's the third movie. But also there is still a pretty basic plot here that I personally think it works. I think the plot with Sienna works really well. I think that there are some side characters that were more important in the second movie, like particularly her brother, that kind of get pushed to the side in this movie. So again, I can see where people are like, oh, the plot is getting pushed to the side in like that aspect. But then they bring in all new characters kind of thing. So it's like, I agree and disagree because I think he's like introducing new stuff while also not answering questions from before. If people actually care about that type of thing, because I think a lot of people that watch these movies don't necessarily care that much about a robust plot.
Yeah, pretty much all of that. Like, I can't name any new characters that were introduced in this movie. I still know that we all love Sienna and her flaming sword. And, Sienna is awesome. Congratulations. Like, she's great. I like Sienna. I'm going to check out The Well with Lauren Laverne, too, to check out her other movie from this year that's a horror movie. So let's see if she can do
good. I heard it's really good.
Yeah, Luis rated it 3 stars, so that's got to mean something. But shout out to Luis Navidad. But anyways, like, this movie just, like, I want to talk about one of the things I love with it. David Howard, I love him in this movie. And, like, every single one of the movies, Art the Clown is the best part of the movie. So I think it's the first time we've even said Art the Clown in this review. Yeah. But yes, the thing that we're bearing the lead here, Art the Clown. And he does have some really funny moments in this movie that make me laugh. It's when they're not trying as hard to be funny that I think is the funniest parts of the movie. I know the part in our theater that they laughed the hardest at is when he's just walking by slapping Sienna in the head multiple times.
Yeah, I'll throw that just a head.
Spoiler.
I know. We're getting into it. We're getting into it.
Slap Sienna. Sorry.
No. Yeah, it is the little things. I agree with that 100%. My favorite. That is my favorite part of the movie. Like at the end when they've captured her. There's a spoiler.
Yeah.
And he has her tied to a chair. She's already tied to a chair. But anytime he walks past her, he like biffs her. Like she's like he's sound. Like his 8-year-old little brother. He just biffs her in the head like every single time. Like that was probably ad-libbed and it's great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and like there's a lot of like. I think to go on what Abby's saying, yeah, we're 3 movies in, right? And really the lore didn't really start kicking in until like maybe the last 5 minutes of Terrifier 1, and then seriously in Terrifier 2. Because Terrifier by itself, the movie, like, you don't miss anything starting with Terrifier 2, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. So we really only have 2 movies worth of like them trying to build like the backstory. And you're right. Like if you ask me questions about the movie, I can answer them, but I have no fucking idea where they're going with it. Like,
well, they're going to hell.
Oh, yeah, obviously, I guess.
Right, and then you're going to go to space because they had the line about the space shuttle and how they're going to take a space shuttle, Sienna and Gabby. So there's no way they're not going to space. They have to.
Yeah. Sorry. That'll be Terrifier 5, I guess. I don't know. I also don't know how many movies they're going to do at the glacial pace that Damien Leone is feeding us the lore. Like this is going to eclipse any franchise, even ones that have multiple timelines. We're going to be, it's going to go to like Terrifier 15, and we're still going to be like, okay, but what the fuck about her dad? Like, what's the deal with that dude? Like,
when are they going to get off the space shuttle? I'm sick of space.
Yeah. It's just a lot, but I would say we're kind of shitting on it a little bit. I just want everything. I didn't hate this movie at all. Like, there's a lot of cool. They do a lot of cool like fan service stuff, but like maybe like too much. Like Clint Howard is in this. Like he popped up. I was like, oh fuck yeah, Clint Howard. Daniel Roebuck pops up. Like all these cool. Chris Jericho's in it for like 5 minutes. Like
well, he's in the second one too. So
right, but he was barely in it. This time we actually we see him be there for 5 minutes and get killed. Yay!
Right.
He gets mandible clawed.
He does. He does get mandible clawed. And like I didn't really like the big things I don't understand is like I don't understand what's her face
Abby?
Victoria, the survivor from the first one, who has her, and then like she goes crazy, but now all of a sudden she's imbued with like supernatural powers, and like she survived slitting her own wrists and sitting in a bathtub for 5 years. But then at the end of the movie, she's just killed conventionally. But makes sense. Makes sense.
That was definitely confusing as well. And there was like one line I think that they had where they said something about like demons and like taking over the body of Victoria, like something like that. But again, just there's a lot of puzzle pieces that are still missing. Like I didn't mind that beginning scene where it's just Art the Clown and her just walking into that disgusting building and then just like staying in there for 5 years. I didn't mind that at all. Yeah. But again, there's just a lot of context that's missing, and it's not really explained that much.
Also, I imagine with the cold open where he just like murders that whole family, I imagine that happens somewhere in that's somewhere in the third act of this movie, I guess, though I don't know how he did all that.
Yeah.
Because it happened at 3:00 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the whole shit with Sienna happened at 5:00.
He just wanted that to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like
it's a great scene, so that's how he justifies it, but it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, fucking make it make sense. Like you're Damien, I'm talking directly to you, dude. Like,
yeah, I hope you're listening.
People like you, right? Can you give a shit? Like just about making a movie, like supervising the script. Everything else is great. Just fucking don't make stupid shit mistakes my fucking son would make if he made this movie. Like act like a fucking adult and make your script make sense.
So this isn't a position I love taking as someone who's all about, the creator having control of the creative. But, he has ultimate control over this movie. He gets to decide what's in it, what's not in it. He's telling the story he wants to tell. That's all. There's a pro and a con to that. And we're getting the movie he wants to tell, but we're also getting
it's a meth addict story. It could it could have made more sense.
And even like sticking with the first scene. I love the first scene. And
it's great.
One of the things that we've heard in like 4 or 5 movies this year, 2 I'm thinking of, Maxine and this movie's for sickos. The line that needs to retire immediately. Like get rid of this movie is for sickos, in case you couldn't hear my voice there. And this movie, I challenge that assertion very hardcorely, and maybe I've just desensitized whatever it is, but
this movie is for people who refer to themselves as sickos. It's not for sickos. This movie is for like beret wearing, neck bearded dudes in t-shirts that are 2 sizes too small, calling themselves sickos. That's what this movie is for.
Also known as edgelords, like 10 years ago. Like you can look up all the terms here, and like the other part of this movie that's sold to us all is nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. Well, the children that are killed in this movie, which I'm not going to go through the history of children killed in movies, but Frankenstein and others have killed children in movies. So like, let's relax on that. These kids aren't killed on screen. So like, I don't mean to complain. Yeah, we hear him chopping up and we see the body parts after. That's weak, man. Like, let's go. Show me it. Be bold right away at the beginning of the movie. I'm not saying like I want to see a kid die, but show me a kid dying if that's what you're trying to sell me with this movie as, there's no rules. Also, like, what else was done in this movie that really pushes the boundaries from the second one? I can't think of really anything. The guy's ass was chopped in half or something. Like
they really seem to dislike people who like Jesus. I think there's a lot of pot shots taken at Jesus, which again, not original at all.
No, and it's just like, and so like I was bored even in the parts that aren't boring after a while, because like when he's like chopping up like, and like they're like splitting the skin in half and they're still like yelling like normal people. It's goofy at a certain point where I'm just like they're not even like they're like and it's not like house style like goofy campy. It's just like, yes, this is supposed to be gross. You're supposed to be like, ugh, but like there's nothing happening. And one of my triggers is fingers getting cut off and stuff. And 2 different times I didn't even cringe at the fingers being removed because it just was like didn't quite, it's not visceral here. It's like it's a lot of blood and practicals, but like it's like, how long does it take to really chop through a body here? Like it feels like he should sharpen his saw for one, in the shower scene, like really was not really cutting through anything. And you know, like these are nitpicks, but at the same point, like I said multiple times to Abby in the middle of the movie, I'm bored. Like that sucks to feel that way with a movie. And I've been ready to have a great time. It was one of my most anticipated movies. And as the year went on, like I've had so many great movies that like I'm not bummed that this didn't live up to the hype. But like, yeah, I'm over I think I'm ready to be done with the Terrifier movies.
Yeah, it's like you could be gory and like offensive and like gritty and like just it's like every decision made was like something that like I would have said to my friends at like a sleepover when I was 13. It's like, what if a girl masturbates with a piece of broken glass? Oh fuck yeah, bro! Like that's this whole movie.
Yeah, I went okay at that part. I was like, okay, why? Yeah. And so,
but like you're supposed to be like, oh, holy shit, this guy's he's like fucking Charles Manson. This dude, like, no, you're not really.
No.
I don't know.
But I did like this movie. I did wait on my rating. I did like the movie. Sorry,
I didn't.
I will say. I do agree that I think that there are a lot of kills in this movie that do start to get repetitive. And I feel like when the fourth movie does originally come, it's going to get to a point where it's like, it just feels like each movie, it's like, oh, how is he going to push the boundaries more next time? I think that's going to get a little bit old. I do think, though, that there were like a lot of the kills, like I did really like. I think they did look good. And I don't know. I had a good time with them. The shower scene in particular, I really am not like sensitive to like blood and gore, but like when the shower scene happened, I started to like, I don't know. I wasn't unwell, but like I was like, this is a lot, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's a very long and drawn out scene. I think that there are like a lot of scenes that could have been cut down exponentially to help with boredom of some people, because I agree there were some moments where I felt a little tinge of boredom too, but again, it wasn't enough to like make me dislike the movie. Like there were a lot of scenes, I think in particular with like Sienna and like some of the family that could have been like cut a little bit shorter. I think even the beginning part with like Art the Clown and the Victoria lady, like I think that stuff could have been cut short. Like again, I don't know why she was doing that with the piece of glass. They never come back to that. They never say anything.
It's just there.
Ever again.
To be like
there. Yeah, exactly.
Like stuff just there is not shocking.
A scene like that probably didn't need to be there. But yeah, like I do think that, in my opinion, and I think a lot of other people are going to think that this movie, like I don't think that like you're not seeing anything completely new here, but I think that it like I don't know of another movie I've watched that's come out this year that's been bloodier or gorier than this. Like not even The Substance, like that one was pretty gross, but like I think that Terrifier 3 is like up here above The Substance, and I like The Substance more. But like I don't know, like I think this movie did a pretty good job with that.
Fair enough, but I think the one thing, and this is my one big like physical nitpick about the movie. Like at the end, Art makes the decision to like basically take a sledgehammer to both of Sienna's hands, like fucks her up, but she's able to pull off like a Princess Bride level sword fight with two broken hands. Like, don't do that shit. Don't do that. And then her hands heal after the fight is over. Like. Have them heal before. Like, what are you doing? Like it's silly.
Right. Just like have it be part of her resurrection angle or whatever. Like that's fine. One last rant, since I've had a bunch of rants here.
Hold on, I'll throw up your graphic.
Thank you. Chico's even up for it.
Here, hold on. There's a rant coming.
And don't worry, everybody. If you're still watching at this point, like you must be enjoying, or you're really, really mad at me. Either way, I apologize or you're welcome. My last rant of the night on this movie and the nobody's safe approach of this movie. Nobody was safe in this movie except for two characters. Well, three if you count Art, but I'm not going to be that guy. So not counting Art. Two characters, Gabby and Sienna. Never once was I worried. Yes, Gabby went to hell at the end because we have to get to the fourth movie. She's fine. They'll find her brother down there if that was her brother's skull. But like I'm sure that he actually did die, so he can be down in hell and he's going to be brought back with his family or something. But Sienna and Gabby, I never once was even kind of worried about those two, and never once will be worried about those two. So that's like my little rant on those two. And when you have just two characters in a movie where nobody's safe, it really, really sticks out to me, and it makes me very, very bored again.
Yeah. Now, one more nitpick. You wasted Clint Howard. You just shot him. He's very expressive. You could have killed him in the most ridiculous way. It would have been great. You just shot him. What the fuck?
Yeah, I heard Tom Savini. I saw Tom Savini was in this movie. I don't know where
he was interviewed. He was at the mall with the explosion of the children.
Oh, cool.
Tom Savini again at a mall in a movie. We love it. Anyway, let's get on to these old ratings. I don't know how we want to do this. I think we should start with Aaron. I think that's how it should work. Yeah.
Drum roll. All right. So I didn't like this movie. Spoiler alert. We should have put the spoiler tag up for that. But yeah, you could tell I didn't like this movie. This is my least favorite in the series so far, including the first one, because the first one always will have the split in half kill that the first time I saw that was like kind of one of those seminal moments in horror viewing for me. But yeah, I was really let down by this movie. It's not a movie I'm ever going to rewatch. So that means it's lower than a 3. It is a 2.5 videotapes here. Yeah, I'm bummed. I'll see the next movie. I'll be excited to see the next movie. But if he fools me again in the next one, I'm really not going to be excited for 5 in space.
What I said is like I rated Terrifier 2 3.5, right? And there was so much hype around this movie and just so much like fuck motherfuck, we're fucking fuck the industry. And like I was like, oh fuck, damn, he's serious. He's gonna do some shit. And like he didn't do shit. So I'm stagnant. I'm still at 3.5. Like I wanted to rate it a 5. It's like the kills are just so good. Okay, so the kills are just so good. They're like practical effects. You're right. They're not like cutting edge like Stan Winston shit.
No.
But for what the movie is, they fit fine and they're funny. They're funny. Like they're over the top and funny.
They're funny. They are funny.
They're funny. The guy gets a chainsaw shoved right up his ass. It's funny. Like I wasn't afraid. I laughed a lot.
What do his eyes look like when they kill? Sunglasses on the eyes at the end. Funny.
Yeah, funny. Art's great. Art's an icon.
He's so good.
This movie could have been so much better though. Yes. I'm let down that I had to give it a 3.5. Like that. This is a frowny face 3.5. So
mine too.
Yeah.
Mine too. I agree. I echo all that stuff.
Abby.
Yeah, so I mean, I did really like this movie. I think my rating could probably go down maybe on a second watch if like all of the little nitpicky stuff eventually gets to me. But again, I mean, I just really love Art the Clown. I think he is like one of the best in like the horror icon of today. I really liked all of the kills. I really like Sienna as a main character. And like I liked what they did with her. I really did. Like the whole like she's in a mental institution, comes back, and then she's dealing with like seeing things and like all. I like that aspect of it. I feel bad for her brother in this movie. But again, he may or may not be back. But again, I really enjoyed this. I had a good time. Again, like there are nitpicks. It's not perfect. But I give this a 4.
You just reminded me of something too. Like the mental health stuff is very inconsistent as well. Like, is she like fully like traumatically schizophrenic or is she not? Like, what's the deal? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Also, like we normally do, we're doing the Why We Love Horror Challenge still. It's still the 2024. You can join the fun or follow along with the fun or ignore the website. I don't care. We actually had somebody sign up a few weeks ago and like they're doing it all in 1 month. So good for them. Lowercase r, lowercase l, capital W, lowercase d, capital I. This week, it was just watch a vampire movie. And Abby, we ended on you, so we'll start with you.
So I watched, there's a lot of like really popular vampire movies that I have not seen. Like I could name at least 5 that like I'm supposed to have seen, but have not. So I watched the Robert Rodriguez From Dusk Till Dawn, which was great. I mean, there's a reason why I'm supposed to have watched it by now. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's very like Tarantino feeling because he wrote it. But it has that feel. And yeah, the vampire stuff at the end I thought was awesome. So that was a fun first time watch.
Yeah, Tom Savini's in that one too,
Yep.
with a penis gun. It's great. I also watched a movie that I mean I've seen pieces of, but I never sat through it in its entirety. So again, this would probably be a bigger shock than you not watching From Dusk Till Dawn. I finally sat all the way through John Carpenter's Vampires, which was like, hadn't sat. I mean, I know all about it, but I had never sat all the way through it. I didn't realize the dude from Karate Kid 3 was the bad guy either until I was like, oh shit, that's Terry Silver. It's good. It's not like the greatest vampire movie ever, but it's definitely like an above average vampire movie. It's definitely like they put so much effort into making like cool characters. Like, look how
James
cool.
Woods is so cool in that
James
movie.
Woods walks away from, like the building explodes. He doesn't even flinch. He's so fucking cool.
John Carpenter thinks James Woods is the coolest guy of all time in 1999, which was funny.
Yeah, there's lots of cool characters. You should watch it. It's not bad by any metric. It's fun. It's also
It's a mean vampire movie for sure.
It's mean, and the humans are also mean, and they really don't like women. They do not like women.
That whole movie hates ladies.
There's a lot of misogyny in this movie. But go on, Aaron. What'd you watch?
Yeah, my movie does not have misogyny in it at all. It's the Jim Jarmusch. So it was interesting enough. I had a real crossroads. It was either the movie I picked or Underworld. So Only Lovers Left Alive is what I went with. I think I made the right choice for me. Because I can hold off on the Underworld lore forever because I retired from trivia. Thank God. But Only Lovers Left Alive, I loved it. Should have saw it a long time ago. Takes place in Detroit. It's just, there's like a lot of layers to all Jim Jarmusch movies. And this is no exception. It's just almost like viewing, like romanticizing the past and like through the lens of a like vampire of like hundreds of years, two vampires of hundreds of years. And like there's Tilda Swinton and Tom Hiddleston, like right before they like took off into the stratosphere, I feel like, and they're just so good in this movie. I mean, there's like not a lot that happens because it's a Jim Jarmusch movie, but there's a lot that's going on at the same point. And like I love this movie. It's probably one of my favorite vampire movies on first watch now. So highly recommend.
Anton Yelchin's in there, you know.
Anton Yelchin's in there. The whole cast. There's a great cast. Yeah. I'm forgetting a bunch right now, but yeah, Anton Yelchin, R.I.P. There's like a whole like side angle with like a vampire who wrote all of Shakespeare's works. So like there's like the conspiracy with it's just like very, very funny. And I'm probably not even smart enough to get half the shit they talk about in the movie. But like at one point he's like complaining about how like 500 years ago he hung out with Byron and Baroque and all these like depressing poets. Like it's just very pretentious, very Jim Jarmusch, but probably one of my favorite Jarmusch movies too. So highly recommend.
I agree with that.
Paramount.
That'll do it for this week on Why We Love Horror. A longer episode, but Terrifier 3 deserved the criticism. That's
a longer movie.
That's what I will say. Oh yeah, this is if you felt us talking bored you, watch Terrifier 3 because you're like, this should have been 80 minutes long. But hey, if you made this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror, the TikTok at WWL Horror. And the schedule here is always the same. Monday is Versus. Tuesday, we've been doing double special editions. You might see a special edition on Tuesday, and you might not see a horror headline because I might get drunk and fall asleep. You don't know. Wednesday is usually special editions, though. Thursdays, you're watching it, Why We Love Horror. Next week, we're doing Smile 2. I think there's nothing else to do. We'll do Smile 2. And then every Friday, it's Why We Love Horror Trivia. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next week, same time.